Take two, and action.
Cut. Welcome to Down the Weeboo Hole, Weeaboo Hole, whatever you want to call it.
Weeboo Hole.
Down our own hole. This is our second time recording this video because Jordan hates us.
What?
I'm joking.
How was it my fault?
But
the sound was garbage on the last one, so we're re-recording this. This was actually supposed to be out
2 weeks
last Friday or 2 weeks ago.
But they won't know that.
Exactly. Whenever it was it was actually supposed to be out not the same day. Actually, it was supposed to be out the day that Cowboy came out instead, because this was supposed to be first.
Yeah.
So whenever Cowboy Bebop came out, that's when this video was supposed to be out. But we're re-recording it. Hopefully, it's only a week past that date. But we are doing
Puella Magi Madoka
Magica.
Magico.
Yeah.
Ilya Prisma.
That thing. Magical Girls turned on its head.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing today.
The hunter of magical girls.
So this is tough because I don't remember everything that we said last time.
It doesn't matter. We'll just do what we always do. Just talk.
All right. So that's what we're doing. And so this is an interesting story. It takes, like I said, what magical girl anime are. Your Sailor Moons, your...
Card captors, Sakuras.
Yeah, exactly. And just flips them completely upside down, and you do not expect half of what happens in this anime. If you haven't watched it yet, go and watch it before you watch this. Spoiler alert.
Spoilers, and big spoiler right here. It's awesome. It's just
it's
super cool.
It's incredible. I think we both gave it a 9.
Yep.
So it's definitely incredible as an anime on its own. Stands on its own 2 legs. So it starts with your typical magical girl anime and how it works, except that something seems off right off the beginning, and I think a lot of that has to do with the animation for the labyrinths, as well as the fact that Cube requires a contract for you to become a magical girl.
Very strange.
Yeah, and that immediately kind of gives you an idea that something's wrong here.
Please sign your initials in blood.
Yeah, it took me a while before I watched Madoka because of the fact that I already knew a lot about it, and I knew that it was...
Stop watching, watch Mojo.
Yeah, I know. I gotta do that, but I already knew that it was the anti-magical girl anime, essentially. So yeah, you have the anime that starts off very normal.
The introduction's strange.
Yeah, the first scene makes you wonder what the hell is going on. Reminded me a lot of, I think I mentioned this in the last one, but it reminded me a lot of the opening to the movie for the very first movie for the Monogatari series.
Okay. How
you go through a building, comes out, and the world is messed up.
We should do a video about Monogatari next.
That's what we're gonna do later tonight. But it starts off like that. It's a dream sequence. The main character wakes up from a dream. Or who we think is the main character, wakes up from a dream.
Yeah.
The namesake of the series is Madoka, and Madoka is the character that we're first introduced to. Mm-hmm. And she wakes up from the dream, goes to school, meets a transfer student who was somebody in her dream.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, okay, what the hell's going on? And student shows up. She tries to talk to her.
Very cold.
Yeah, very cold personality. This is Homura. And then later on, she's with her friend Sayaka. They go to a cafe or some kind of restaurant, and Cube starts calling out to her, which is the little cat. If you've ever seen any kind of image from Madoka, you'll know this cat-like creature kind of looks like an alien.
I always saw pictures of it. I'm like, where is that from? And then I'm like, oh. Now every time I see it, I'm like, go away.
Yeah, exactly. So Cube starts calling out to her. She ends up going into the back of the restaurant or whatever. And then we see Homura chasing down Cube and shooting at it.
It's awesome.
And we're like, what the hell? Why is she attacking
Very intense.
this cat? And then
Cube has a bunch of holes in it, and you're like, oh my god, leave the poor thing alone.
Right. And then they end up in a labyrinth. And is Sayaka there? I think Sayaka is there.
Sayaka is there.
Yeah, and then who ends up saving them in the labyrinth is Mami, who we meet right away in the first episode.
Yeah, Mami's awesome.
Mami takes them back to the apartment with her, and Mami knows Kyubey, so they end up having a conversation about how Kyubey can turn them into magical girls. All they have to do is sign a contract, but they get a wish out of doing that, and all they have to do as a result of being turned into magical girls is fight witches, and in their labyrinths, which are like kind of hyperspace that appears wherever the witch is situated.
So let's just talk about labyrinths right now.
Yeah, exactly. So labyrinths are really cool. They're
awesomely done, very
super well designed.
Super awesome, like animation for them. Looks like what was I thinking? Like pop-up books or like
sort
paper
of.
mache.
Yeah,
not paper mache, but like cutouts, and they're all like pasted
most
together.
of them look that way, and then we have one off.
It's very jarring to look at.
Yeah,
like you're like, this hurts my eyes, but it's also very beautiful as well.
Yeah, we have a one-off labyrinth at some point in the series, which we'll talk about, which was something amazing, incredible animation when we get to that part of the video. But yeah, we have these labyrinths, and hidden within them, are different ranks of witches, and these witches, we don't really know what they are, but they cause calamity wherever they are. Like, essentially the way it's explained is whenever you have people that commit random suicide, it's normally because a witch is around.
Yeah. Yes.
And thus, the more we get rid of, the better it is. Obviously, that's the premise.
Yeah.
Or what we're at least told in episode 2. And Madoka hesitates to sign a contract with Kyubey, mostly because Homura shows up from time to time and pushes her away from it. And then Mami pretty much convinces Sayaka to become a magical girl.
But not yet.
No, exactly. Well, when was it? Was it
after?
Okay, so anyway, I think it's episode 3 that it occurs.
Episode 3.
Yeah. So we have them going into a labyrinth, much stronger witch than what we're used to.
Yeah.
Homer tries to stop them.
The witch is cute looking too.
Yeah,
it's like a little clown monster. Yeah, it's clown worm monster.
Yeah, it doesn't look threatening at all. And Mami gets beheaded.
Yeah.
And thus, that's when we know things are not right here.
This is Bel Air, Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Things have been flipped on its side.
Oh my god, that's the worst reference. Anyway, so Mami dies. And we're like, okay, what the hell? She actually dead.
What am I watching here?
Yeah, that's it. And yes, she is in fact dead. And Homura is the one that ends up saving Madoka and Sayaka within that labyrinth, taking them out of there. Sayaka then ends up making a contract with Kyubey to try to save her friend who's been had his hand destroyed. He used to be a violinist, and he could no longer play violin because he has some sort of either disease or he had an accident. I think it was an accident, and his hand, basically the nerves don't work the way the muscles don't work the way they used to. She uses her wish to save his hand. Essentially, she becomes a magical girl.
Yeah,
and
then we learn that you need to fight witches.
Yeah, exactly. So they go off, and she goes off and she goes to fight basically her first witch, and that's when we meet Kyoko. Right there in that alley, and they have a fight of their own, and Kyoko tells her, you don't understand anything.
Yeah.
You basically, this is like kill or be killed sort of thing.
Kill or kill.
Yeah. And Sayaka doesn't like believe in that idea, and they have their fight, and you can see that Kyoko
awesome
like,
fight.
Yeah. Sick.
Awesome animation in this.
The animation's sick. And Sayaka basically gets destroyed.
Shaft's best work.
Oh, yeah, some of Shaft's best work for sure. And they also did Monogatari, so there you go.
We got Shaft a month.
Yeah, we're going to be doing all Shaft anime every day, all day. But, so yeah, they have their fight. Kyoko is far superior, as we can see. Sayaka doesn't die, luckily, in that fight. But then we later find out, and I believe this is on the bridge, and this was a horrendous moment for me. Because they have these crystals that they carry around.
Oh yes, that's
and
the point.
The crystals get purified because they start turning black, and then they get purified every time they kill a witch.
Yeah.
Essentially, or they acquire something from a witch, they put it up to their crystal, it absorbs away the like dark energy within the crystal, and at some point Madoka takes Sayaka's crystal, tosses it off the bridge that they're on, and Sayaka faints.
Yeah.
And then Kyubey says, "Why would you kill your friend?" And we're just like, oh my fucking god.
I thought she was done.
I thought she was dead. I was like, that is like the best way you can kill somebody off.
I was hoping that she died.
I was hoping she'd be dead right there as well, but Homura, badass, like light speeds through the highway, catches up to the crystal, brings it back, and then like she gains her consciousness back. And that's when we find out that Kyubey basically didn't tell them that they no longer have their souls within their bodies. Their
Yeah.
bodies are just shells at this point, and their souls are in these crystals.
Yeah, which is terrifying.
Yeah, because, like, if ever anything happens to these crystals, they're screwed.
Yeah.
So they need to, basically for the rest of their lives, they need to
Fight
kill
witches.
Yeah, exactly. So you think you could use a little bit of a better wish than the one
Yeah,
that Sayaka made, especially. So yeah, that ends up happening, and
I feel so bad for Sayaka.
yeah, and then Sayaka slowly starts to her mental state slowly starts to deteriorate quite a bit.
We can talk about the scene now.
Yeah, so we have this this one scene at the beginning of an episode.
Beginning of an episode, yep.
She's fighting a witch, and everything's in black and white.
Yeah.
And the animation is absolutely incredible. It's so sick.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, it's a very different looking labyrinth.
I love how like her body's like limp and like it's not really. She wants to fight.
Yeah,
she's just like
Shaft did a great job on this one.
Just doing the motion. She's just in the motion, getting like stabbed through the chest.
Yeah, and like none of that matters as long as she kills the witch,
Yeah.
because she knows that once she gets used to like the fact that her body is just a shell at this point and
Yeah.
pain doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because she can still feel pain, but it'll go away because her body doesn't matter. So long as it's still like functioning, she's good to go.
Exactly.
So she just starts like ripping into this witch, and she doesn't care what happens to her, and you can see that in her movements and her body language, and it's great.
It's a great way of like show and don't tell.
Yeah, that's it. And then
enjoyed
her relationship with Madoka also starts to go down the drain.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly why. I think it's because like Sayaka's doing all this work to stay alive, and Madoka's
I
like,
think Sayaka's just like, you don't understand.
yeah, that's it.
You just don't understand what I'm going through.
That's it. And Madoka's trying to, but she just doesn't. And then we have this yet another horrendous scene where Sayaka takes a train, and she's defending some girl that these two guys are like talking shit about, and then like it gets so bad that she herself turns into a witch.
Yeah.
As a result of all the built up dark energy in her crystal, and we now understand that a magical girl becomes a witch at this point in the timeline.
So it's just a never-ending cycle you learn now, and you're like,
that's
what?
It. We're like, what the hell's going on?
Because at the beginning you're like, who are these witches? Where are these witches coming from? And then you're like, this is just one big giant circle.
Yeah, it's cyclical
nuts.
and it's horrible. And then we get the big reveal.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're like, we're Steins Gate.
Yeah, that's it. And yeah, exactly. We can make comparisons to Steins Gate. We get Homura's backstory, finally. This character that keeps reappearing, keep trying to save these girls, Sayaka and Madoka.
Total badass.
Amazing. And then we find out that she's actually
a weenie.
Biggest nerd ever. And what happened was she made a contract with Kyubey. Well, Madoka was the first to make a contract with Kyubey, technically.
In a different timeline.
And Madoka is like a badass magical girl, like she's like above Mami's level when Homura first meets her. And keep in mind, up until this point, we have not seen Madoka be a magical girl,
which is amazing.
It's only in this backstory that we see it, and we're like, what's going on?
And the theme song shows her as a magical girl. She's
like,
exactly. It's gonna happen. And
and you wait, and then finally we get episode 10. And I think it's either 9 or 10. And that's when her backstory happens, and we find out why all of this is happening. And essentially, it's because Homura met Madoka, basically became friends with her, loved her so much that when she actually died to a witch, Homura used her wish and made a contract with Kyubey, I believe to... What was it again? What was Homura's wish?
I don't think we're ever told.
Alright, edit this part. So, we're back from editing. We found out Homer's wish, and the exact wording is she wants to redo what she did wrong. So, this...
Okay, but this... If that's the case, does she become a magical girl after Madoka dies, or is it...
Well, she becomes a magical girl in that instance, right? As she makes a contract with Kyubey. But time resets, and she stays a magical girl as a result. But now her purpose is to keep Madoka from becoming a magical girl.
Yeah.
At this point, seeing it as she's redoing this series of events.
But yeah, she does it while Madoka's dying. She's like, Kyubey, I want to be a magical girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's during her death
that makes
scene.
Perfect sense. Okay.
Yes. So, Homura essentially goes from being this super nerdy girl who's like socially awkward and
Inept.
like, yeah, exactly. And she can't talk to anybody, to being a total badass because she keeps redoing these like 3 weeks over and over again, sort of like the Okabe effect. And
The Okabe effect. That should be like one of our like our words.
Yeah, the Okabe effect. And so she keeps redoing this. Eventually, she takes off the glasses and she becomes this total badass.
She should have cut her hair.
She's able to move super fast. And I think that's because she keeps gaining more and more experience. She's keeping all the experience from redoing this certain amount of time over and over again. So she becomes like this crazy strong
like
magical
50.
girl. Yeah, she's super strong. So anyway, her purpose is to keep Madoka from becoming a magical girl.
Yeah.
Ultimately, she fails.
Yeah.
In the timeline that we see in the anime,
But in the best way possible.
But in the best way possible, and it's so Code Geass. I loved it. And I said this in the last episode when we recorded this the first time. But Madoka becomes a magical girl, and her wish is for witches to no longer exist.
Yeah.
And but at the cost of her overseeing essentially the universe to make sure none of this ever happens.
Yeah.
So she dies as a result, but for a good purpose, which is to keep witches from existing. Essentially, she takes on the burden of all of the witches over time.
Yeah, and which is cool. We see all the old witches.
Yeah, like Cleopatra and
Joan of Arc, and you're like all these famous females throughout history, and you're like, oh god.
Yeah, and it makes sense why they're famous throughout time. Nothing to take away from like real life women who have done badass shit. Like we don't want to take anything away from them, but like this gives an explanation as to why you have such powerful women across time, which is really cool. Seeing that this has been going on for a long time, and we have a quote that Jake was saying.
I didn't write it down.
You didn't write it down?
No.
All right. Well, Kyubey tells Homura that his species.
He's just saying it to himself, actually, on top of like a roof.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he's not saying it to anyone.
Okay. Well, he tells Homura in I think it's in episode 10.
It's episode 8.
As well. Well, no, he tells himself on the roof in episode 8. He tells Homura that this has been going on for centuries, millennia, and that they're an alien life form. So Kill la Kill, Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
They're an alien life form who have come to Earth to exploit the fact that essentially the universe is going to run out of energy at some point.
Yeah.
And the best way that they found to produce energy
is
magical girls and having them turn into witches and keeping that cycle going, because the amount of energy explosion or the amount of energy produced from that cycle is insane for the universe.
And they're essentially livestock.
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
Kyubey...
And Kyubey's quote where he says, do you care about like the cows that you eat, their emotions and how they feel about the fact that you're killing them?
Kyubey's not a bad character.
No.
It's
superior life form.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But we don't like him because we human.
Well, I like Kyubey, but
we human though. we feel for these girls. So that's basically the entire story. A lot more to say this time than Kokoro, huh?
But okay, let's just get into like the setting, and just the feelings that you feel while watching this anime. Ultimate despair. You feel on edge all the time.
Yeah,
I've never felt so uneasy watching an anime. I loved it. Yeah,
that's what you said the last time. That was your big point about it. I agree completely. It's terrifying. Something was always bound to go wrong, and like when like I said, that
and
moment,
even when things were nice, you were like, I don't like this.
Yeah, that's it. Something bad is gonna happen. Even like when Madoka grabs Sayaka's crystal and throws it off the edge, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? Before I even knew what was about to happen, I'm like, why did you do that? Something horrible's gonna happen now. And there we go. That's exactly what happened.
The music, the aesthetics, the animation, all of it just combines itself to make such an unpleasant watch.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the soundtrack's great. The characters and the way that they devolve.
Devolve.
Yeah, that's a good word to use, I feel. Throughout the entire 12 episodes.
It's only 12 episodes, and you feel
it's
like
12 episodes,
but it feels like you're watching a lot.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like Steins Gate condensed. Yeah. In a lot of ways. So yeah, that's that feeling of dread, of unease is something that I didn't necessarily enjoy, but it's kind of akin to horror and good kinds of horror. I know that your kind of The type of horror that you enjoy is unease.
More like psychological.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, I also like scary monsters.
Yeah,
but...
and that's a lot of what it does. Like when I messaged Jake to watch Madoka, I compared like 5 different anime, and I like crammed them in one. I'm like, that's what this is, and he's
it was
like,
on my list too.
Shit.
It was on my list too. I wanted to watch it. I heard that it was a subversion of the Magical Girl series, so I was like, let's check this out.
Yeah,
and like the poster that you see on Mal is like little girls like dancing and
super nice.
I'm like, this looks enjoyable. Like, what are they gonna do? And what I got from it was just incredible.
Yeah, it was great, guys. Again, if you enjoy watching our videos and you watch them regardless of spoilers, still go and check this thing out.
Definitely,
because
like
it's awesome.
You need to. It's essential.
It's great. Yeah, it's essential.
It is.
To be an anime fan, you need to watch Madoka. I feel like you do.
I feel like Hunter x Hunter is like for shonen, and this is what you need, because you need to watch the breaking down of like tropes and stuff
for sure,
to like really respect this.
Yeah, like obviously if you've never watched any Magical Girl anime, then this is
watch a few episodes of Sailor Moon.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, if you watch Sailor Moon growing up as a kid, or Cardcaptor Sakura, because that was airing around the same time, things like that, then you're definitely gonna want to check this out, because it completely throws it on its head. So that's definitely something. We're gonna talk about the characters a little bit.
Yep, sure. I like Madoka, and I love that we never see her turn into a magical girl until the end.
Yeah,
it was such a big middle finger to like us. I'm like waiting. We're like, okay, is it going to be this episode? No.
And you're always, it's part of the unease too, because you're like, is she actually going to do it? Is she going to do it?
She's like drawing pictures of her outfit, and you're like, that was in the OP. Like,
that's
what is going to happen?
We know what she looks like.
I love that they didn't turn her into a magical girl until the end.
Yeah,
and like,
but that's the thing. That's part of what makes it so unexpected.
Yeah.
and such a subversion of the trope is that it's not focused on magical girls.
Exactly.
It's this horrible situation that's occurred.
Yeah.
And that's really what it focuses on. Madoka, I like Madoka. She keeps Sayaka in check as long as she can.
Yeah.
And she's I feel sorry for her, because one, not only does she have to sacrifice herself at the end, but through the entire like first 9 episodes, she's like she's sort of thrown for a loop on what to do. Does she help out her friend and become a magical girl too, or does she listen to Homura and like back off
and like she's like pushed to the side, and she's watching her friend like devolve, as you said.
Yeah,
and, like,
exactly.
It's tough for her.
I really feel bad for her as a character, and I also feel bad for Homura and Sayaka, both of them. Kyoko's the one I feel the least bad about.
And Mami.
And well, again, Mami, we didn't get enough of her to feel like... I didn't feel like I needed to care too much about her.
I did. She was like going to be like their teacher, their like sensei.
Keep in mind, I knew she was going to die.
Okay, well, that's not fair.
That's it.
This is Cowboy Bebop all over again.
Yeah, precisely. But I don't know. I didn't grow a huge attachment to her. I feel like...
Well, no, she's only in 3 episodes.
Yeah, there wasn't enough time. Exactly.
But it was like, oh, she's cool.
Sayaka...
She's voiced by Satsuki, so...
Yeah, Carrie Keranen does a great job. Sayaka, I felt...
like the worst for
really bad.
She's the one I feel the worst
for. Yeah, she has the worst time.
Like, she's helping.
You're gonna have a bad time.
She wants to help her out, her friend, and he doesn't even like not care about her after. Like, he's like, whatever.
Yeah, doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah,
she gave up her wish.
Yep.
And it's just, oh god.
Exactly. It's so sad.
This anime is very brutal.
Yeah, and then
on your own emotions and
the characters. For real. Yeah. And then Homura goes through absolute hell.
Yeah.
Any character that has to relive something over and over and over, for me, is just like...
say the Okabe effect?
Yeah, exactly, the Okabe effect. Any character that has to do that, for me, you have my compassion, my empathy.
Yeah.
Because that really sucks.
Like, this is the 3rd character we've talked about this for.
What do you mean?
We got ReZero and...
Oh my god, yeah. For real.
Subaru.
Shout out Subaru and Okabe, man.
Yeah.
And then we have... who's that? Kyoko?
Kyoko.
Yeah, Kyoko. Kyoko's cool. I loved Kyoko.
I like her because you're like, oh, she's really mean. And then you're like, okay, now we're starting to understand.
Yeah, you get a little bit of her backstory in the church. And then, like, with the bread and stuff.
Yeah.
And
then she has her battle with Sayaka.
Yeah.
She, like, risks her life.
Yeah.
And they both die.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you got Kyubey,
which is insane. And then that's pretty much the main cast. And Kyubey is Kyubey is interesting.
The antagonist, but like not.
Yeah, but
really.
not really, because you I don't want to say you empathize, but you like
understand.
Yeah, you understand why he's doing all of that.
Yeah.
From our point of view, it still seems evil, but at the same time,
it makes sense.
Yeah. It's like you're taking into consideration the universe as a whole.
Yeah.
And when you look at other anime where, like, for example, let's take Fate, for example, right? Okay. You have Kiritsugu, right?
Yeah.
Who's like faced with that decision of like, do I save 300 people or 200 people? And then it keeps breaking down to like 200, 100, and then like at the end he's basically like killed off like 499 people to save one.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, yeah, that's not right either. And you have like multiple situations like this where you're like, okay, well, clearly I'm going to save as many people as possible. Mm-hmm. And like Kyubey is kind of trying to do that, right? You're trying to save the universe as a whole. Long term,
it's just one planet.
Yeah,
like some people.
That's it. So, like at the same time, you're like, yeah, I get it. I get why you're doing it. It's just it still sucks for us
because we're also put in like this personal position of seeing these characters in their growth.
Yeah.
So we empathize with them more.
Exactly. Yeah. So
which I enjoyed. This is very cool. Very very cool.
It's awesome. For sure. We're not gonna get into too much to the characters. I think you have to hear their dialogue and really experience them. I think the story was the main component that we had to cover.
Yeah. It was just the emotions we emitted from such
exactly. It was
crazy ride.
Yeah, definitely.
I like finished, I think 2 nights.
I think I'm going to rewatch it later this year.
There's movies. I'm going to watch the movies.
Yeah, I haven't watched them either.
But so no, the movies are just the anime, but like shorter.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, the first 2 movies are the season, and the last movie is something new.
Oh, okay, interesting. All right,
just rewatch the movies. I'm gonna definitely do that.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that as well. That's a good idea. Yeah,
exactly.
Add it to the list, the content. But yeah, that's all we're gonna cover, guys. Like I said, it's the second time that we're doing this video, so I'm sure that there are some things that have been lost in the.
I think we did a much better time this.
Oh yeah, I think we did because we already had practice on the first video that we did tonight. So
it's always in Magical Girl that we have to redo.
Is it?
Yeah, we had to redo Ilya.
We had to do Fate. Yeah, we had to redo that. Yeah, it always ends up being Magical Girl, so we're going to stop watching this anime type altogether so we don't have to record 2 videos every time. But I still enjoyed the anime, and I enjoyed talking about it, regardless of the fact that it was 2 times. I think that it's something worth talking about twice, even worth watching twice. Like I said, I'm definitely going to watch those movies. So if you guys haven't checked it out yet, go and do so. If you have, let us know what you thought of the anime in the comment section down below. We want to hear your thoughts. If there was anything we missed, if there was any kind of because we didn't go too far into like metaphor or like we talked about Kyubey and the whole like situation.
We just saw when we were looking up Homura's
my God.
We just discovered
the
all
Wikipedia page is ridiculous.
We're gonna check this out.
There's so many crazy things here.
We'll look up that stuff, and if we find a theory that we like resonate with, we'll start a discussion about that. That'd be really cool.
For sure. Yeah, I think that'd be interesting to check out for sure. And you guys should go and do that on your own time as well if you've already watched it. But yeah, that's where we're gonna leave it off, guys. Again, if you have any different thoughts on the series, then go and check them out in the comments section, or leave them in the comment section rather. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you guys soon. Ciao.
Phenomenon.